Hello everybody, my name is Alicia, and today I'm going to be talking about extrinsic motivation, specifically the flavors of disengagement and engagement time, from The Engaged Classroom by Sam M. Inchador. Of the flavors of disengagement, which is basically a few different lists or paragraphs about how students get disengaged, I decided to talk about worry time, because although seemingly easy in comparison to the real world, high school is a very busy and stressful time for many students. At this stage, many students are balancing learning how to drive, studying for the SAT, joining a club, making varsity on their team, making first chair on their team, and even getting a job, which your first job is always one of the most fun experiences, interesting experiences, but also very stressful because you have to learn how to be a working person. Not to mention the stress associated with forming and maintaining relationships, creating an identity of your own, and the inevitable drama associated with growing up, which is why students often spend a lot of time worrying about things that are not always related to academics, even when they are in class and should be engaged. Instead, they may be strategizing about who they want to go to lunch with, what time they have to be at practice, or if their favorite manager is working at that night shift. But regardless, they are distracted by worrying about what they have going on, which is still very understandable and I'm sure relatable for everyone, not just students. But these distractions do mean students are disengaged with the content and not listening to what you were supposed to be teaching them. And as a teacher, it is important to be mindful of their lives and ensure that they are still learning. But how? Well, through the engaged time topic and getting to know your students as people, you can do just that. Getting to a point where you understand their experiences, interests, aspirations, needs, and fears, you can help your students feel known, heard, and appreciated as individuals and not just as people that you have to interact with to get paid. By creating a community and not just a classroom where it is okay to share and express feelings or do activities to get appropriate stories that relate to your content out of your class period will not only build a trusting relationship where students can understand you as a teacher and understand each other as peers, but is also a really good way to tie their lives into the content you have to teach, which then can create engaging class periods where the time normally spent worrying in class can be used to process different life stressors in maybe a new light while learning about Shakespeare, for example. Students can identify their fears expressed in Romeo and Juliet and then feel heard when they see they are not alone in those fears that the characters may be experiencing, and then effectively use what they experience and are feeling to understand a more complex story. As a teacher, this is crucial. Many of the best teachers are student savvy, as mentioned in the reading, and can create some of the most memorable and engaging classes, like my middle school 7th grade science class. Before reaching the 7th grade, I struggled heavily in science and math concepts, and the years prior, I was often heavily distracted in class because I was dealing with the same changes we all face when we're in middle school, and I was often thinking about anything and everything that was not related to what we were learning. Until Miss Aiden's class. During the year we spent together, we did an astronomy unit, geology unit, biology unit, and a tiny chemistry unit of the bare basics. And to this day, I remember all of the content I learned. Sure, it was because we did fun activities like roast marshmallows over a candle to represent the sun, or push bread together with frosting to see how plate tectonics work, but because she also made sure she made us feel understood and feel like whatever we were going through was valid. We did daily check-ins, community building, icebreakers, and had a lot of options to join her clubs or other clubs on campus that supported the content she was teaching, while also getting to know us better. I feel like she understood me, not just as a learner, but as a person. And even when we covered content, she always made sure to draw it back to our own experiences. Like with talking about Galileo, who was not understood for knowing that the earth was round instead of flat. And as a middle schooler, you often don't feel heard. And that's kind of where I saw a little bit of a neat tie. But overall, her class really, really has stuck with me because she got to know us and got to help us understand the content by getting to know us and keeping us engaged.